Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Heart, Mind, and Voice Show. Hi, ladies. Hi, audience.
Hello. Hey,
Welcome
everybody.
to the Heart, Mind, and Voice Show, where we are healing the heart and renewing the mind, all through the power of transparency. What's going on, ladies?
Hello,
What's going on
hello.
tonight? This is your girl Shalonda, aka as Happy Bill. We have Miss Kim, known as Serious K, and our girl Kaneen, known as Queen A. Say hello to our fabulous audience tonight, ladies.
Hello,
Hello, hello.
everybody.
Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be here with you all.
Absolutely, absolutely. It has been a amazing week, I would say. So much is going on in the media. So much. I'm talking, we have the movie that I cannot wait to log off and watch. Wendy Williams. And then we have this corona. We have all of this talk about, the new vaccine that's out, and then about the stories or the lies that, what was his name again? That was in the White House. I forgot. What was his name, y'all? Yeah, he about the lies that he told. And then the most scariest thing for me, at least, is about the new case that's out, the new corona case that's out. I don't even know where to begin. Let's get started with your girl, Wendy Williams. Are y'all watching the movie tonight? Do y'all have it on record?
Absolutely. Mine's on record, ready to go.
I may have to catch the replay.
Oh, God. Come on, Serious K.
Y'all know me. I'd rather be asleep. I'm going to try.
Are you recording it? No, okay. Anyway, moving on.
But you can stream everything now. So if I get off, and I can probably find it on some streaming service. Y'all know how we doing now.
It's on Lifetime. So guess what? On Lifetime, they show repeats. It'll probably repeat tonight.
I know, right? Oh,
repeat tomorrow, repeat all throughout the week. So trust me, you will get to see it. And you're off on Monday. So hey, you probably gonna watch it tonight. I've been watching, so many of her interviews about, the movie and about her life, and she's dropped so many nuggets. Wendy Williams, I won't say she's a big moral fan, like a fan of, I'm sorry, a celebrity of morals, like, you think of Oprah, but she definitely know her stuff and know her business. What have some of the interviews that you've seen, like, have she dropped any nuggets for you guys? Like one in particular for me, I would say, somebody asked her, one of the interviewer asked her, so what would you tell a younger person that's trying to walk in your shoes when it pertains to being married and kind of being out there really bad, and the type of business that, she got her wealth off of? What? Dogging out people, basically. Spilling the beans, telling the business, sharing the business. So I would say that one of the main things that she said, because she was in such a, she said her ex-husband is a serial cheater. He was a serial cheater. I'm sure if he was with her, probably still is. And she said that one thing she would share with that individual, or share with anybody, is that everybody is not made for marriage. I kind of want to say that for what we're going to talk about tonight. We have so much to talk about. But what are some of the things that you guys heard in her interviews?
Well, I haven't gotten any nuggets, so I have to be honest about that.
That was a good nugget, though.
But yeah, that was pretty good. But I did watch the one with TMZ where she did say that, he was a serial cheater, and she didn't decide to leave him until she found out about this little 3-year-old child or whatever.
Yeah.
So I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, but it's kind of weird how their relationship is. She'll at one point she'll say, okay, like, he's my best friend, we're cool. And then another side she'll say, well, he's this, he's that. And I'm like, which one is it? Y'all cool or you ain't cool? She go back and forth with him. So, but I guess that's how their relationship was, a little roller coaster, up and down. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, I would say, I think we can always learn from somebody. She's kind of messy to me a little bit, but
Extremely messy.
but I would
She
say
is.
this, I'm all about finding teaching moments. And I heard something on the radio the other day, and she said it was WBLS, and she said she would love to teach, and she would love to give back and teach people how to communicate, because she said she's been through so many ups and downs and getting into that world of communication, and she want to teach college students how to really know how to communicate effectively, because she's an icon in communication. She was on the radio, she was on a television, she was on talk show, she was on talk show. So she's definitely an arena when it comes to communication. And she says she wanted to be back in that arena. Now, which was crazy, what she said is this. She said she wants to
of the many things.
So she says she wants to show parents that their hard-earned money of their children's education is invested well, because she's an iconic. So their kids can come to college and learn through someone who's already been in the media, someone who's already been in that industry. And but then she said, some days I won't be able to make it, so I'll get someone in my place that's trusted. And and I think it was Jeff Bezos. He said, I forgot the name exactly, but Jeff on a radio show, he said, you know what? He said, how can you tell parents that I'm going to be here and teach, and then you're going to have a representative in your place? He said, they're not paying, they're paying for you, not the representative. So yeah.
That was good though, that she wants to teach, because who would not want to be taught, especially if you're in the communications field, career industry. She is one of the best, I'm not saying she is the best, but she's definitely one of them. And especially we have, you guys know, tons of bloggers that would love to walk halfway in her shoes, if not all the way.
Yes.
And then you have those that want to be on the flip side, because I think there's like two different levels when it comes to that world, that communication world, because we have the Oprah and the Gails, and we have the Wendy. Right. And I don't know who else. She's kind of out there, because then you have what's her name? Tamron Hall. Yeah, like she's very well respected. And you have, you have a few others, but then you have Wendy. But Wendy has done extremely well. She even said that, I was listening to one of her interviews, and she said that I can live so well. Now, one of the surprising things that Wendy said was that she took a lot of stuff, and I can't wait till we watch it. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit, about the show next week. But she said that the reason why she had, her husband was a serial cheater, and she knew that he had cheated on her so many times. She said, I think it was 3 years in the marriage that he cheated, and she stayed. But one of the
that
things
she knows of.
Yeah, right. And she said that, exactly. And she said she stayed. And one of the interviewers said, well, why? You knew you was building this major brand. Why did you stay? Because you knew that the more money you made, and he worked for her. So you knew that money was going to go, some of that money was going to go out to him. Like, that is something huge with women in particular. Come on, ladies. Yes. We work hard, we make all this money, and then we have to give it out to someone that cheated on us numerous times. And it ended a catastrophe. But she said one of her things that I wanted to bring out, because this is what this show is about, healing the heart, renewing the mind, all through the power of transparency. And if, Wendy is one of those transparent ones, at least more so now that she's, exposing out there. But she said because she loved him. She loved him. But she did say the whole time she was building her case to leave him, she did not want to be one of those statistics, single divorcee, living in somebody's basement, barely making it. So, and I think she's done extremely well. But hey, do your thing.
Right.
Do your thing. I idolize the money, and that's not it.
Right.
But not her journey. So let's move on to the Trump story. His name was Trump, right? Yeah. Trump story about him lying about the corona numbers, which, let's be honest, we knew those numbers were not accurate in
Absolutely.
some areas. I won't say all areas, but what have you girls heard about that story?
So what I've heard, I forgot the doctor's name. I wish I'd had
Dr. Burks.
Yes. So she indicated that the numbers were coming into her, and she said some of the numbers she did not know exactly, but she said she knew it was off. So whatever information was coming to her, I believe she was also told to not to disclose all the numbers. But even what came to her was distorted. So she said she never questioned it, and she did apologize because she didn't question it, and she apologized to the audience because that's something important to know. But she felt like Trump wanted her to not disclose, and then basically, in other words, he was just kind of denying it. He was just overlooking what was going on. And as you can see, we see the numbers are rising. Yesterday, I was watching CNN, and every single day we have over 2,000 cases.
Yeah.
People are dying. It's just, over 400,000 in people who is reporting COVID, but it's over 2,000 every single day of people that's dying. And I don't know, the seriousness of how people are really taking it. Sometimes I'm out in the streets and I just see people walking around with no masks, and I'm like, hey, they talking to you, and but so people, because they had not caught it, or maybe had not had anyone in their family that had the COVID, but it is really serious. And I think it's something that we really need to take serious, especially with this new mutation, Corona, or I don't even want to say it's Corona, I know the name of it, but this variant that's now coming from South Africa and from the UK is real. So
yeah. I've heard that go ahead. Siri, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say one thing they asked Dr. Burks in that interview that I saw. They asked her why didn't she stand up and say something about what she saw, the graphs that he had. She said those were not her graphs. She said she know that it was somebody on the inside or somebody from the outside brought him those graphs. So they said, well, Dr. Fauci in the beginning, he would stand up to him and he'd step up and correct him and say, no, it's this, this, and that. She said, well, he was given an opportunity and I wasn't. But I don't believe that's what it was. I believe that she was afraid to be bullied because she was a woman, and we know Trump is famous for bullying women. And I think that she was just afraid to stand up and say something. And now that he's gone, she's like now, able to speak about it without being, bullied and talked down on, so.
But don't you think she should feel some type of way? Like, this is serious, nothing to play with. And
I know, right?
And sometimes that pose a question, just a self-reflection question, or just just to look within yourself, like, what's more important, me standing up for what's right and dealing with little-minded people, small-minded people that basically can't do anything. To me, it's just a lot of wind.
Words.
That's what he did a lot. And versus doing the right thing. Now, the one thing that I'm not clear on is I guess the numbers, were they numbers that were in particular states, that as far as the cases or the deaths, or across the board?
She didn't elaborate on that. Well, if she did, I didn't hear that part, but I just know that the numbers were wrong. I'll just say that. So
okay.
And think about this. So like I'm in Georgia now, in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm originally from New York, but Georgia has been a new New York, right? And supposedly the numbers in Georgia is not as high as all the other states, which is very surprising because we're operating like it's no corona. We're wearing masks, but we operate like everything is okay. So I believe that they are still hiding numbers. And because it was such a mess of what happened in the White House and not disclosing that information, they're probably trying to figure out, how do we even disclose the truth of this? So they don't want to create a big mess and a big, what's already a mess and everything that's been going on. So I believe that they're still somewhat disclosing numbers. And I just want to say it's very interesting because if you're following last year, and it's like we're almost going back into the same situation, right? Where last year We started hearing about, the virus overseas. We started hearing about it in the month of like December, January. Same thing with this new virus. We started to hear about it in the month of December and January. In February, it was more, discussions about it. It was all over the news. Next thing you know, in March, we had to shut down completely. And it seemed like the same exact thing is occurring where we hear about it. Next thing you know, we probably hear that they may have to shut down. And it's like it's following a pattern of what happened last year. And again, I don't think people are taking it. I don't want to say everyone, but I think some people are really not taking it as serious. I mean, some people are just, we hear the term "live my life." I should always, why have this stop me? I'm living my life, and they just travel abroad and overseas and other countries. It's just like you don't know what's going on. So I just think people really need to be very, very careful and mindful, and just follow new ways of, having fun and dating. But, it's very interesting because with Trump, right? With Trump, I thought about this because one of our topics is narcissism. Do you think Trump was a narcissist?
I've said it. I've said it. The definition of it, he's all that.
And
it's
then
all, yes. It's all about, it's all about him. He wants to be on top. He wants to be seen. He wants to be known. He wants to be honored. He doesn't like competition.
Yes.
There's a lot in narcissistic people. He has to be acknowledged.
Yeah, he think he's right about so many things, and he feels okay. Like if you're like, why would you think that this is the right thing to do? What's the problem? What's wrong? Just like with Corona, it's no big deal. We'll get through it. Next, what? This is not next, because we've lost so many people, due to Corona. I want to mention about the vaccine, the two different. Now, one thing I want to correct: when we did our show, probably one of our first shows, a couple of weeks ago or a month ago almost, I mentioned the Moderna and then Pfizer. And then I didn't know. I don't know if you all knew, but we were on the show and that we were talking about it. And I was like, well, how can you determine which one to take? I was not aware or clear on they had to take both of them. Wait a while, take one, and wait a while and take the other one because they were hand in hand. So we didn't really elaborate on that much, but I know that now I have that clarity and know that they've come out with a new one that's Johnson & Johnson has a vaccine that's 66%. And I'm just, and it's one shot, I believe. It's not,
Yeah, I think I mentioned that in one of our shows that one of my nurse clients brought up, talked about Johnson & Johnson.
Oh, she's already taken?
No, she hasn't. But remember, I told you guys, it was one of the other shows. And I was like, I heard that Johnson & Johnson was coming out with a vaccine, but I didn't know if it was real or not, but it is. And a lot of people, I talked to somebody today about it, one of my clients, and she was saying, I think I want to take that Johnson & Johnson one. But, I wonder if people are going to trust them. And I was like, you know what, you're right, because they couldn't even get the ingredients to baby powder right. They got folks running around here, with sick kiddies. I'm sorry. But, it's, I don't know. I don't know if people are going to trust them.
Right.
They said sick kitties.
I'm just saying.
They do have a big lawsuit for all
they do.
That's out there, just so everybody know. But Johnson is being sued for a product that they had that wasn't too good for the kitties. I feel a certain way. I mean, we have half of the country that's for the vaccine, then we have the other half that's not really for it. And you have to think, because they can, I'm not sure if they will, but they definitely can make it, they can make it a law that you must take it if you want to travel. And I know you ladies love to travel. So what are you going to do then? So, and both of you, like, have stated that you're not on the side of the vaccine.
Mhm.
So that's something to consider because, they got to get it under control. And it's just a lot of biases when it comes to that vaccine. I really hope they get that together.
Well, I'm sorry, but I have a trip in June, and
Oh,
they sent out the email saying that we have to have the COVID test.
Mhm.
If you're flying out of the country, you have to have the COVID test done before, and then to fly back in, you have to have the test done before
So
you come back into the country. The
Yes.
test,
flying or shipping? Flying.
huh?
Is this
Flying,
flying, shipping, or just
flying.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they still keep changing the dates on when they gonna cruise and stuff. So I don't know about that, but we're flying.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This brings up an interesting topic too, right? Because it talks about the states becoming somewhat separate from its own. You know how Africa, is a continent, and they have and instead of being a state, it's countries. And do you think that the U.S. will be doing something like that when possibly, because we see the discord between the states, we see the discord between the Republicans and the Democrats. So we see so much discords now, right? And then with the whole virus, they're going to have to get a hold of all these things that's taking place. So do you think possibly that they're going to be maybe shutting down some of the borders in the states, whereas we would need maybe some type of official document or some type of maybe like a passport? We don't need a passport for the US, but do you think we need a passport going forward? Because it's like, when you think about it, the virus is, I hate to say it, but it's not going to go anyplace right at the moment. So to control it, because people still want to travel, and I know sometimes that, the governments certainly don't want to restrict people too much. So with that being said, if they travel into other states, what you think is going to happen? How would they be able to get a better control over everything? And again, it's been talks about maybe creating digital type of IDs just to keep track of certain people, as well as digital IDs just to go across certain states. So in other words, most people are going to have a passport in order to travel throughout the US. And I believe this is all coming about now. And it's very interesting, right? Because astrology, I love astrology and numerology. We are in a 5-year, which deals with travel and expansion and also awakening. So because of travel, it's going to be some laws around travel that's going to change in a major way. So we got to get ready for that.
Wow.
Yeah. I can definitely see Texas doing that.
Yeah, they were once upon a time, right, Kim? I know. I
Mm-hmm.
know.
They had.
Yeah, they once
Actually,
upon
Texas
a
was
time.
one of the first.
Huh?
Actually, Texas was one of the first who was testing it out.
Mm.
One day, let me tell you, ladies, one day my dream is to settle in a new amazing state. Okay, let's move on to the narcissist.
I'm hoping to settle in a new country.
Go ahead, Queen A. What were you saying?
I said I'm ready to settle in a new country. Is my hope.
Me too.
Yeah, that'll work.
Too.
That would work. I will move to Canada tomorrow.
I wouldn't say Canada. It's too cold. It's too cold. However, that's a whole other topic in itself. It's a lot of things going on around Canada. And I believe, just my opinion, don't take it and run with it. But I believe Canada will be a little bit more strict with their guidelines of people coming into the country, because it is going to be a time, I believe, where it's going to be a lot of travel, and possibly this year where people are going to be moving out, possibly looking to get passports into Canada. But I believe Canada will be one area that's important to maybe look to get a passport, look to kind of get, not a passport, but look to get some type of way to get into that country. If not, I believe other areas as well. But we're going to see this year, and mark my words, I believe that with this year, that is going to be a lot of changes with travel and possibly people moving as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I just hope I'm in that number. I'm just saying, and I'm being honest. But I just hope I would love. That would be like so amazing to move to another country versus a state. I would love to just move to another state,
Yes,
but
yes.
another country and pick up a whole new culture. And I've seen a lot and heard a lot and learned a lot about Canadian culture, and I actually like it. So that's definitely something that's on the list for me. So let's move on to some of our exciting topics tonight. Um, one of the topics that people love to talk about is love, relationships. And one of our topics is dealing with different entities within the relationship. Are you in a controlling relationship? Is that significant other, be it man or woman, narcissist, a narcissist, or what? And there's so many. I was watching a video on narcissism, and the doctor or the therapist was talking about how um, sometimes when people have those traits doesn't necessarily mean that they are a narcissist, but and I guess, and this is how I relate it to. And I'm not trying to be funny. I want to be very sensitive to people that really have, mental, challenges and everything. But I thought about people that, have like a depression disorder, which can it can escalate to bipolar and then to schizophrenia. But sometimes when people, because they've been through a lot and they just have those traits of someone that actually have depression A or B, or actually have bipolar, or is actually bipolar or schizophrenia. They may have those traits. They may act like them and remind you someone that have a mental disorder. And so
Mhm.
I kind of related to that when she was saying sometimes people can have certain traits of a narcissist, but not
Mhm.
necessarily be one. And when you do notice those traits, it is necessary that you go and you have a conversation with someone, a professional, not just anybody, but a
Right.
professional. So we're talking about this in relationships. And I know all of us have been in good relationships. We've been in, bad relationships, and we've been in those relationships that are just, you don't even want to bring them up.
Yeah.
So, I would say, especially, okay, this is one question I have for you ladies. Do you think that it's different from for men per se being in a relationship with a woman that carries those narcissist traits versus a woman being in a relationship with a man that carries those traits? Have you guys thought about that? Like what do you say about that? What do you think?
Well,
Have
for one, I mean, studies and statistics show that in most cases, narcissist is in males predominantly rather than females.
right.
I would say that women can possess those traits, but it may be, called something else, or it could be something in her background, something in her history, maybe codependent, because sometimes codependent people can come across as narcissists as well. But in most cases, women, I would say women are attracted to, like, codependent women are typically attracted to narcissistic people or men. Um, but you don't necessarily see, women that are considered narcissists. So
Right.
What do you think, Sirius K? You're over there
Yeah.
pondering.
Yeah, like she said, mostly that trait is dominant in men than women. Um, and you do have a lot of selfish men out there because selfishness is one of those narcissist traits because that it's all about them, it's all about me.
It's all
right,
about that.
They do not care about your feelings, how you feel about it, how's it gonna affect you. They just want what they want when they want it, you
hmm
know. And you could probably see some of those traits in women, but women are a little bit more sensitive. Like we are nurturers, so we do care about how it's gonna affect you, you know,
right,
even if we are a little bit selfish, we do, keep other people in mind, especially if we love them.
Right.
right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and some narcissistic traits or can be hereditary too. It can be passed down. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
hmm
Have
Yeah.
either of you ever been in a narcissistic relationship? Or a relationship with a narcissist?
I don't think I have. However, I've been in like the traits were somewhat similar.
Mhm.
But I would say, because to me, like one of the traits of narcissism is being controlling.
Yeah.
So I've been in relationships where it's been some sense of control, like when the person wanted to control every aspect of the relationship.
Mm.
So and then also some relationships I've been in where they play the victim and everything. So
Yeah.
always feeling
Yeah.
that's another trait, but it always feeling victimized. But
Mhm.
Mhm.
very interesting with astrology, right? I always go back to astrology.
Let us have it.
So, so with astrology, right? Because sometimes people look at, they say, oh, this is just the nature of like, I'm a Virgo. So people will say, oh, this is a nature of Virgo to be wanting to
Mhm.
be in control, or the nature of Aquarius, Happy Bill, being Aquarius, the nature to want to detach. And then Sirius K, the nature of Capricorn, they would say, serious or just all about business. But so it's like we all have these aspects, right, about us. But
Mhm.
so some people may look at that and say, well, this is just how the person is. But with astrology, right, this is why I always love astrology, because it gives you the blueprint of who you are and what you attract into your life. Like just giving a really quick example, the fourth house in astrology talks about the nature of like the inner nature of a person, where they came from. So say for instance, my fourth house is in Aries, which explains why I may attract people who are dominant. I'm a bit dominant, not all the time, but so, also very tense relationships.
Right. Right.
But the fourth house represents the mother figure. So, when you look at the fourth house, how the person relate to their mother also determines how they relate to you in the relationship. So if you look at that, if you look at things like that, you tend to understand. And you have to look at the moon sign. So so many aspects to it. But sometimes, as Sirius K said, it can be hereditary. Narcissism can be hereditary. But also, when you look at astrology in your chart, you begin to see where those traits are coming from. Sometimes we don't even realize where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't even realize why mental illness, or why sometimes we may suffer a lot with depression.
Yeah.
So, so just for instance, my moon sign is Aries. And again, a lot of Aries, right? A lot of fire. So with Aries, it represents the mind, the brain. So taking very careful, being very careful of how you treat your mental, capacity. Like you got to heavily invest in your mind, because you could be depressed sometimes, or you could be cloudy sometimes, because the Aries represents the mind.
Yeah.
So, or you may be interested in psychology. So with the Aries, it could be a moody sign. So all these different things can definitely say a lot in terms of why a person show up the way they, not only, with astrology, but they experience in life. So I have a lot to say about that, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
We're gonna have a show just on relationships.
But just to say really quick with narcissism, so it is red flags. And I've been in relationships where
Ooh,
it was red flags and I ignored the red flags, just like with
oh,
Wendy, right?
tell me
Because it's
about it.
like out of love and lust, definitely lust.
Yeah.
And, they say love
Yeah.
blinds, lust blinds.
I like that.
So so it's so many aspects. It's like, and we don't, and some people, like, they don't even know what a narcissist is. So
Right.
given the red flags of what to look for, because we don't even know. Sometimes we come in connection with a person, and sometimes, especially women, we want to be loved so much, and we want to give love, that we
Yeah.
may not
Yes.
realize that we are dealing with someone who may have issues or need help. We may need help, and how to identify those red flags. Like with Wendy Williams, perfect example. Like, I don't know if her husband was a narcissist, but they definitely both possess certain traits. And then it's
Mhm.
like she stayed in the relationship. She was growing. She stayed in the relationship, she said, out of love. But it's like, was that really love? Is it
Exactly.
really love? So,
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very true. And speaking on that, I would say, I don't know. I mean, the majority, definitely we know it's never, all men and all women, but it's always
Yeah.
going to be there a majority there. So I would say the majority of people that carry a narcissist personality disorder would be men. majority would be men. I mean, it would be excellent and interesting to know just like as far as like the men and what particular race carry it the most.
Oh yeah, that's
Mhm.
really good.
Mhm.
Keep that to myself. But yeah, it would be that would be a very interesting statistic. But I want to say this because once again, our show, Healing the Heart, Renewing the Mind, all through the power of transparency. You know, being transparent, I was definitely in a narcissistic or with someone that had a lot of narcissistic traits and possibly a narcissist, definitely. You know, researching and studying it myself. And I would say this, especially to my women, more so my women, because we suffer a lot more than on the men when dealing with that narcissistic significant other, be it a girlfriend, I'm sorry, boyfriend or spouse. Um, a narcissist, and I know you guys know this, but a narcissist portrayed to be this genuine individual. And usually they are really loved by a lot of people because they don't live with a lot of people. They only live with that person or you know, intimately connected to that person that they're involved with. So as we know, ladies, that when we're intimately connected with someone, there's a lot of involvement with that and we know the good, the bad, and the ugly. So a person that's on the outside looking in does not know the good, the bad, and the ugly. So they're gonna just see what they see and look at you as though, okay, you know, that's what they said. And you know, but you know, part of us is just human nature because we're human. Um,
Mhm.
we would more than likely say, well, I never saw that in that individual. Or they don't seem that way, like what he's
Mhm.
saying about her or what she's saying about him. So I don't know. That's what he said or that's what she said. But they always, and I want the ladies to know this, they always, that guy in particular that you're messing with, that's a narcissist or have those traits, they always come across to the other person, to just people in general, as this kind individual. You know, they, you know what, they can be excellent, excellent actors. I'm sure there's a lot of them that's out there that are, but they portray to be someone that they're not, and I think that's their, that's almost like their gift and curse.
They fantasize.
Huh?
They fantasize a lot.
Yes, because
Mm.
if they use it in the right way, it could
Mhm.
benefit them monetarily amazingly. But you know, they use it against um, you know, their loved ones because of that, you know, because of that sickness and because they don't really, because they're overly obsessed with themselves, they don't really believe in themselves. You know, when you're so full of yourself and won't let anybody in or don't think, I think that you're like the greatest
Mhm.
all times. And it's okay. It's good to think that we're all that and we're excellent and we're great at this and we're great at that. We should. But I think that there should be some modesty there and balance there. So that's one thing that one main and major trait that narcissists do not have, and that's balance. I would definitely say that that's balance. So moving on, ladies.
And
This is
before, and let me just say this before, so before, I just want to encourage people definitely to look for the red flags. I was reading a report on psychology today, and they talked about some of the red flags is where the person may be, they're very charming. So they'll come across to you very, and Series K, you may know more of this topic because she's studying, how to becoming a therapist. But one of the things they said, well, some of the things they said was to look for someone who's very, like, very controlling, someone who overlook what you're saying and your thoughts, someone who's always playing the victim mindset, never taking ownership of what they do. They always blaming you for your things and what you're doing. They always looking for some excuse to move away from, what they're doing. Again, never taking accountability for who they are, what they've done. Also, people, they appear one way to the outside world, but in personal relationship with you, they're completely, totally different. And also, they could be someone, again, they want full control, of everything. They want full control. And it's like, if you don't, relationships about compromising, but when you don't compromise, they don't want compromise. They want full control. And if they're not, basically doing what they say, They cause you to have a fit, and they look to blame you for everything. And then also they want to play on your mind, your psyche, put you down in so many ways because they have low self-esteem. So they want to put you down to make you feel like you have low self-esteem as well. So it can become a very emotional relationship, a very toxic relationship. But what happens as well is because and a lot of times in those relationships, the sex is off the chain. So, sometimes if you in a toxic, I mean, you can be in a good relationship, of course, and have great sex. But when you're in a narcissist, relationship, they study you very well. So they study you. They know what you like. They know what you don't like. They study your every move, your mind. They look for ways to control, and then the sex. They look for ways to manipulate you sexually. So those are signs that you want to look out for because it's very, very important. And you want to make sure, that you are healthy, as well. Again, sometimes in codependent relationships, we don't even realize at times that we could possibly be codependent or have codependent signs. And I just want to say, be happy in yourself, be happy in who you are so you can draw the right person to you.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, also to add for women in particular, never second guess your intuition, especially those
Yes.
relationships are the most, not just toxic, but they're the most controlling. And, it's kind of like they're the hardest to get out of because
Yes.
even in some parts, because women, most of the time, we're moved on emotions. But definitely, for women, we move a lot on emotions. So
Mm-hmm.
emotions can get all caught up in it and we just see through emotions. I love him, as Wendy said. But your life matters, you matter. And though he may not be a physically abusive, emotionally and verbally is just as
Yeah.
impactful. So definitely never second guess yourself. And if you feel like you are with one right now, as you watch and listen to our show, definitely reach out and talk to someone that knows a little bit more about it, or just talk to someone that's full of wisdom. And they can definitely, tell you, yeah, that doesn't seem right, or that's not right. Don't talk to someone who can be biased, but
Yeah.
definitely talk to someone who's going to be fair and full of wisdom. So I would say
Yeah.
that when it comes to dealing with narcissists. Kim, did you want to add anything?
Yes, I wanted to say too, women, be careful when you're in a relationship with a narcissist because we know that they are envious and they want all the praise because
Yes.
they feel like, of course, like we said before, they are above you. So be careful not to lose yourself. Do
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
not lose yourself. Do not lose who you are and who you want and what you wanted. Because I was in a relationship with somebody that had those narcissist traits. And before I got with this person, I knew what I wanted. I knew who I was. I knew my hopes and my dreams. But being with that person, um, they were controlling and it was all about them. And me being the nurturer that I am and the person that just loves so hard like I am, I was more focused on making sure that he was happy, that he was okay. And when I got out of that situation, I was like, I'm lost. I forgot what I wanted.
Wow.
So, and whenever, and then I want to say this too,
Mm-hmm.
get out whenever your peace is disturbed, it's time to go.
Yes.
And of course,
Yes.
we already know too, when it becomes abusive, mentally and physically abusive, and your peace is disturbed, that's when you know it's time to go. Get out.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
is so good, so therapeutic, so helpful, and so in so many ways. And I can't
Mhm.
believe we're getting close to the end of our show, but we can't.
Oh yeah, we got one more topic to
These are
discuss.
my favorite. I know this is one of my favorite and personal topics in particular. When dealing with controlling relationships, how about the messy in-laws? Now, do y'all see that? Messy in-laws. And I'm not gonna say so much that maybe Solange was being messy, but when they are involved in your marriage because you're married to him and he's married to you and he's not married to them and she's not married to them either. So when there's a third party in a two-party situation, which should be one, that's messy. And there's so many couples, and in-laws, a lot of them. I'm not going to say all in-laws because some people have excellent experience, have had an excellent relationship with their in-laws, and be it mother, father, aunts, uncles, whoever that's an in-law. But I would definitely say that it's important to, being in a relationship, it's important to keep it between you and him, or you and her, and not you and them. So
Yes.
of course, you want to get feedback, you want to get wisdom. And I've heard that when you marry her, you marry her family. When you marry him, you marry his family. Do y'all agree with that?
Y'all already know.
Or clarify that. I mean, we've all been married. Come on, Sirius K and Queen A.
So,
Do you agree with, when you marry him, you don't have
so
short, sweet, and impactful?
So Happy Bill, I would say I married into the family, not to the family. Okay.
Yes, I love that.
So I married him and not them. And of course, I love my in-laws. Okay, yeah, there, I love them. But remember what the good word said. You leave your father and your mother, and you cleave to your wife, and the two become one. They didn't say in all them. They didn't say in all us become one.
Say it again.
And the two become one.
Say it again.
I owe no explanation to anybody but him and the Lord up above. And so me and my husband, we have this bond. We have a strong bond. And all we care about is Kim happy? Is Jason happy? Because at the end of the day, it's just me and him.
Yes.
If he gets sick and he need to go to the hospital, guess who's taking him? Guess who's taking care of him?
Yes.
Same thing with me. And if I need something, guess who I count on? That man, him, nobody else. And the good Lord. So again, I married into the family, but not to the family. Love y'all in-laws, but
I'm about to throw this cup into
it's very interesting, right? Because I haven't been, like, thank God, my ex-husband and other relationships I've been in, like, I had great relationships with the in-laws. But one thing I can say is so one thing I can say, my son is not married yet, but with his girlfriend, and my son is the type of he's a millennial, so he's to the point where he's like, I don't care what you say. So I didn't really care for his significant other, but he's like, Mom, I don't really care what you think, like, this is and this and it's like, and I did as a mother, I tried to lead him in the right direction, but I had to learn how to help him make the right choices for himself. And if he chooses to be with whoever he chooses to, then he just have to learn the journey from it. Now, I've heard, I had some, people that I know where I, counseled people as well and coach people in relationships where the in-laws were heavily involved, like just all up in the business for what? So, and it caused so much disturbances for that relationship. Even if that person is not the right person for your son, your daughter, or whatever, is not, it's not our journey to really say that, but our journey is to help them make the right decisions and make it right first, for God in the marriage or, in a relationship. If not, then they have to make the choice whether they want to stay or leave. But like I said, I had situations where it was some messy situations. And I didn't understand. I'm like, get out of it. Like, why? But
yeah.
Gosh, I hate that we have run out of time, but definitely we're going to pick that messy in-law topic back up. And the one thing that I know, with having experience with messy in-laws, you
got 5 minutes.
We want to hear this. We want to hear the messy in-law.
Kim,
I'm so messy.
And Queen A, y'all couldn't have said it better, that I marry into the family. I did not marry you, mama. I didn't marry you, sister. I didn't marry you, brother. I, I didn't marry you, dad, stepfather, whatever. I didn't marry you. You know what I'm saying? But I married your son. I married your brother. So, and I guess they become messy when the marriage gets a little shaky and
Yes.
they, want to put their 2 cents in. And I don't know, I'm sure many, me and many others, we're never this, oh, I'm the only one in the world. No, this is a world of a gazillion people. So you're never the only one in the world.
Yeah.
But me and many others have, made the huge and most worst mistake in talking to the in-laws, thinking that you have this close relationship, or even when they say, they're this, minister or evangelist or whatever, so you kind of look at them a little different, not just as, a mom that's, sitting on the corner and drinking with her, with the girls and like whatever, and saying all kind of crazy stuff, but more so someone that's always praying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you would feel like they would give you more sound advice and not be a part of destroying your marriage because they have all these, inner inner desires to snatch all apart. But I would definitely say that we definitely should, for people that's out there that is experiencing messy in-laws, to first of all, if you haven't had issues, or if you're having issues and you're contemplating going to the mother-in-law, or you're contemplating going to the father-in-law or the siblings, and please never go to those the brothers, they're the worst. You may get some mothers and fathers that are a little old school, understanding, like, well, you're gonna have these challenges, especially if they've been married for 30 plus years. But with the younger folks that's been married for 5-10 years, come on now. And especially when we know how the general society feel about marriage today, like, hey, if it ain't working, move on to the next. And that's not the way it should be. But I said so many. Go ahead, Renee.
So Heavy Bill, this is interesting, right? And I would love to expound this topic, so especially when it comes to astrology. But one thing I would say is the individual, like, so for instance, you mentioned in your marriage, and you mentioned how you had some challenges in your marriage with the in-laws. So your spouse, and this is just for anyone, but with your spouse, they should be the ones who stand up for you, and have the courage enough to go to their family and say, listen, like my son, he's 24, and he's like, listen, mom, you're just gonna have to accept it. I said, no, she's not allowed in my house. He didn't care. He brought her to my house. And I was like, okay, I just had to go with it, so because that's my son and I love him. So, and I want him to be happy. So, a lot of times we have to.
It's not your son's happening?
Yes,
really?
Yes. And and it's like, if he's happy in it, I don't get the relationship. If he's happy in it, then we all made some errors. We all made, so it's like we all have to go through our journey. But one thing I would say is that person, like you mentioned about your spouse, so standing up to your family and letting them know. And a lot of times when it's messy in-laws, it's because that person did not stand up to their family and let them know this is not going to happen. This is not going down like this today. 100%. So, and so it says a lot to what was going on in that family dynamics. Mm-hmm. What was happening? How much control do they have over this person, where they could influence the way they, the way they operate in their marriage, the way they operate in their lives. And again, if that person can't stand up to their family and let them know this is my choice, and have them, just and now a lot of things is we don't even know what they were saying to their like your spouse. You don't know what he was saying to his family to make them even have a certain feeling about you. So that's it's a lot to say with that. And it's just a whole lot. And it's like, why bring it again with the narcissist? I'm not saying he's a narcissist, but I'm just saying. So, to look for validation. So in a marriage, if you don't want to take accountability for what's going wrong in the marriage, you look for validation outside of that, and possibly with your family, because your family in most cases is going to always agree with you. So you look for validation as to why you're right. You look for validation when something is not working. You look for validation as, okay, this is not working, and you look for someone to agree with you rather than working it out.
And I want to say real quick, because I know we got to close. I was going to say that's why it is so, you should not, I just warn people, do not go to your mother or your father and tell them about what's going on in your marriage if you're mad at your spouse. If it's something serious, now if it's because he left the refrigerator door open, that's fine. But I'm just saying serious stuff, because then when you're not mad at them anymore,
another woman,
when you're not mad at them anymore, your mother and father are still mad at him. And then now you mad because you want them to like him, because now you're liking them again. So, and then y'all doing him like that. Well, you shouldn't have ran and told them that. they holding on to that.
Yeah.
So unless you're about to leave that person and be done and be over with, don't go running telling your parents stuff, serious stuff, when you know you're gonna stay with that person, because they gonna dislike them and you still gonna be with them. So just don't do it. Wait till it's all over, then you could give them the rundown. They be like, oh, I didn't even know. Okay.
So true, Series K and Queen A. Like I say, I've had the horrible experience of that. And the key thing is, even though they may seem sound as mine did sounded, like I say, they wasn't in on the corner drinking a smoke, a 8 bull. They were, on their knees more than the average. And so, but it's still reversed. So do not share personal trials and tribulations that's going on in your marriage with I would say with either, but you two go to God in prayer about it, and then seek out professional help. That's why professional help is available. And if you say, well, we can't afford it, well, the church is available all day and we can Zoom it out. They have Zoom therapy all day, affordable, free. Just check your local listings. We'll put some stuff up for you. Email us at heartmindvoiceshow@gmail.com. We will let you know. We have a therapist in practice, getting her education in it. We have a mental health first aid, me right here. And we have a certified coach down below right there. So Queen A is the business, Series K is the business, and I definitely the business and the experience. It has been a lovely show, ladies.
Yes.
We have run out of time, and these are some excellent topics, to continue to talk about and provide wisdom to you and help for you. We have an amazing lineup for February, so definitely tune in because it's going down. And we're starting with the millennials, and y'all already know. Pray fools. But you already know. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sign off, but definitely tune in to us on next Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Central and 8:30 Eastern Time. Please feel free to email us at heartmindvoiceshow@gmail.com if you have any questions, any comments. We are here live for you. We will definitely respond to you. We love you. Stay tuned, and we are out.